G'day! In today's video I'm going to do a screen replacement on a Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE. The screens themselves are relatively cheap, relative. They're around about 80 AUD, 80 Australian dollars from AliExpress. Now this has been sitting on my blue heat pad here at 70 degrees, getting very toasty, so I'm hoping that will aid in lifting out the screen. I will also be using some isopropyl alcohol in a little squirty bottle, a thin metal pry tool, a couple of picks, and whatever else that comes my way that I seem to need. I'll start, where will I start? Where's the camera on this one? It looks to have a camera up the top, and also a smaller one over here, which I'm assuming is here. So I'll just run a bead of, well, not a bead, it's not glue, but you know, you may understand what I mean. A sliver of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol around the outer perimeter. Hopefully they can go into the gaps and get down into the glue that's holding the screen, or double-sided tape, as it more than likely is. Over here, I reckon I'll just use some tweezers to break that glass out, hoping that the heat that I've already applied make that come out quite easily, and that will give me a good starting spot to take this apart. There we go. It seems to be all leaving as one. Same up here. I'm hoping from there. Yep, no, there goes my hope. Fractured like that glass. Put that over here for now. Now that should at least give me somewhere to start lifting. That's what I'm hoping for. Get this just under the screen just enough, like that. Now with the heat and alcohol, I'm hoping I can get that mostly to lift out for me. I do need to be cautious on which end has the cable connector, which I think it's down on this side. So not like that. I'm hoping this won't blast glass at me. Not yet anyway. I need something slightly thicker to pry in here. It's probably too thick, but it's going to do. So what I'm doing is kind of putting that in and then twisting the bottom section in the screen to push it out where there's least pressure on the outside, if that makes sense. Usually the less breakages you have here, the less time you have to spend on cleanup of the frame. So usually if you can not constantly shatter the glass into a million pieces, that will make the job overall quicker, even if it does take longer to do this part here. Okay. Yeah, I've encountered a cable of some variety here. Now it seems to be lifting up very easily everywhere else for me. Okay, now I'll work on the other side. As I said before, the isopropyl alcohol softens the adhesive and then in turn makes it easier to lift out. That's why I'm using a fair bit of it. And that combined with the heat is doing a pretty good job. Should go back to the spatula. Now, as you can see, this folds over. Sadly, I can't get to the battery to disconnect it, so you want to make sure that your device is completely switched off prior to doing the screen swap, or especially disconnecting and reconnecting the screen. And this little tape here comes off. I'll zoom you guys in a bit closer. Then this tab here will flick up, and then we can let that pop out, like so. We will also need to swap over this cable from the old to the new. But while there's nothing, while the good screen's over there, I might as well clean up the frame here. Usually just use a small flat Phillips head screwdriver. That will work. This one is just a small little metal pry tool. It's also rather useful at removing any excess glass shards. Now, looking at my replacement screen, I don't have any adhesive on it. It doesn't come with any factory applied adhesive. That doesn't matter. I will be using some B7000 screen adhesive or frame adhesive. That works really well. So I don't see why it won't work really well today. Got it clean. Now I'll use my little Phillips head. So very little. It's useful for getting any dirt that's built up in the edges. And after this, I'll give this a wipe down, or a brush, a dustpan and brush to get any of those extra glass bits off here. Just reorganising myself on the workbench. Down here. Similar to the video tab before, or the LCD cable before. Move that out of the way. To lift this up. It will lift. Tab goes up. Similar thing here. That bit. Should be able to go over to here and do virtually the same thing. Just slides into the white line. Flick the tab over and push down. A liken to that. The same kind of scenario. Oh no, we're not the same kind of scenario. We need to swap the whole board over. Didn't even pick that up. This little board here. If I move this out so I'm not reflecting as much, you may be able to see what I'm talking about. Yeah. That should be able to be lifted up. like so. Should fold back. Go. I'm going to probably use some alcohol here again. Around here. And I'll use my very thin pry tool. There we go. That's it there. This can be put off to the side. So then I move this over. This tape's going to come off. Slide this in first into that little groove that's there. This may be if you have touch issues where some of your problem might be in the future. Double check that you've got this one connected well. There we go. So that line, there's a line in the ribbon cable. It's basically right where that black flap goes. Some double-sided tape we'll use for that. The adhesive will take too long to set. So I'll just put a thin one here like that. Fold it over. Play where it lays. And lift up the flap here. Feed that in also. It's really struggling at it. There we go. And then this tape can go back over it. What have we got? This can come off also. There's a blue tape I've got on here. So this can go on here. I'll grab the other two from the old screen. One on there. And one here. Go on there. So that's all covered up, ready to go in. So I don't think there's anything else I need to scrap off the old screen, so we can get thrown off to the side. Then before you proceed about gluing it down, I'd recommend testing it first. Latch should go open here. And it will just kind of go into this groove right here. Like so. And this flips back over, clicks down. From there, I might even throw this over the top just in case. I've misplaced where I put the initial. No, I found where I've put the initial tape that was there. This one here can go on there like so. This can fold over and just loosely sit it where it's meant to live. I'm just going to give it a quick power up off screen. Hit the power button and at least you'll see the Samsung logo without revealing any personal data. It's holding it now. No, it's gonna be silly for me. Weirdly, the power volume down button's dodgy on here. It should be displaying. Not even vibrating, it might be dead flat. I'll figure that one out and be back in just a sec. I don't know, I just wanted to wait a little bit longer. So I'm going to test out the touch now, and then from there, otherwise if it doesn't start up for you, plug in some power and give it a minute. Alright, so since there's no personal information getting displayed, I'm happy to show you. But right now the touch for me feels pretty much exactly where it's meant to be. It's responding as it should. So from here I'm going to be happy to stick that screen down. We'll power it off again. We'll power it off the proper power off way. Power off, off. Weirdly, I'm still used to just pressing that power button. Bixby is not a thing. So what I can do here is fold this over. And with this folded over, I'm going to use some of my B7000 frame adhesive, and then I'm going to heat it up a little bit afterwards. And that should pretty much have it set. You can potentially use double-sided tape if you've got some. That should also hold it. This stuff I like it just because it's relatively, well, to me it's cleaner. It seems to come off a little bit easier than some double-sided tape. So I'm just going to work my way all the way around it. Basically, if you want to make it kind of, well, back to being liquid-ish proof, liquid resistant, not proof. I can't say I've come across any devices that are liquid proof. They are liquid resistant, which means they can get a bit of water on them and they'll keep going just fine. Well, that should be the case. With this, once I finish with the frame adhesive, I find, with the frame adhesive as opposed to the glue, it's a lot easier, as opposed to tape, it's a lot easier to get a bond, a water resistant bond, because you can choose how much glue you want to use. With tape there might be some gaps. It's going along quite well. There'll just be another sensor up here. I'll just cruise around it. I'm not sure where that sensor is, but I'll just go around it. Yeah, there must be a little ambient light sensor, I'm guessing. That's why there's a little window there. Down this way. There we go. So I've applied glue all the way around there. Now I should just be able to fold it over, push it flat, heat it up a little bit, and be good to go from there. This one, apart from the risk of the battery not being, or the device still being turned on while doing the screen swap, overall, it's a pretty straightforward display and touch panel replacement for a Samsung device. So if you haven't done one of these before, this would probably be a good one to learn the actual process of a screen swap, as there's not too many things that, well, apart from the battery, there's not too many other things that can go wrong. If you do experience issues with the display not working or the touch being very bizarre, I would probably double check the connectors we connected up earlier, or that little circuit board we swapped over. There may be an issue there. But for now, I'm just going to put weight on this. I'm going to leave it, and then after, well, right now it's on my heat pad, it's 65 degrees Celsius. I'm going to let it sit there for about 30 seconds, turn the heat off, leave the weight on it, and then after about 5 minutes take it off and let it cool down from there. And from there, it should be a working tablet. So overall, hope this helps you. I'm going to catch you guys later. I'll briefly show it working, but I'll catch you for now. Bye. Here we go, screen is attached. No net. And it is functioning as it should. Fitment's pretty good. Individual results will vary. Overall, relatively cheap fix for a fairly large tablet. Hope this video has helped you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.